So we are going over how to either troubleshoot or fix the blue screen of death. What that is, it's pretty much blue screen of death. If you get this little frowny face image, right? This is the blue screen of death. Essentially, it's telling you that your computer ran into a problem and needs to restart. But what is the problem? That is what we are here to figure out. So the first step is, of course, wait for this to complete. Try to reboot your computer and make sure this doesn't happen again. If it doesn't happen again, you could probably just skip this video. But if it does happen a second time, it usually means there is something seriously wrong and we need to go figure out what it is. So what can cause the blue screen of death? Now, there are a vast number of reasons that would actually trigger this screen. One of them could be your drivers. As an example, if you open up Device Manager, if you have any faulty display drivers or processor drivers, things like your peripherals, so like your mouse, monitors, anything that you might plug in, like a USB hub, a docking station, all types of things. Every single piece of equipment, device, or software would generally have some kind of driver associated to it. And when those drivers get either corrupted or have issues communicating in some way or another, this will cause the blue screen of death. And so what we would want to do is narrow down what driver it is. So another thing is Windows updates. Sometimes Windows updates can be corrupted or, once again, interact with your other software and drivers poorly, causing this blue screen of death once again. So make sure your Windows is up to date. If it is up to date, there might be an option to check your update history and uninstall updates. So this is basically rolling back any recent Windows updates. If you experienced a blue screen right after doing a Windows update, this is an easy way to go in, uninstall that update, and double check if that's what was causing it. Okay, now another big problem with blue screen of death is when you have hardware changes. So think of if you break something in your computer and you change out a fan, you change out the motherboard, or you change out anything, there's a chance that you can run into a blue screen. Once again, this is usually due to installing drivers or corrupted drivers, maybe lingering drivers. I'd say 9 times out of 10, it usually is a driver issue. And this would also coincide with hardware failure. So for example, if your fan stops spinning in your computer, that can throw a blue screen all on its own. Same thing for your processor, for example, stopped functioning, your RAM stopped functioning. So one of your any of the hardware in your computer, if it tends to fail, it could throw this blue screen and kind of just send you in a loop. It's going to try to repair it, then it's going to restart, and then it's going to try it again, and it's going to just keep you in this annoying little loop. And with hardware failure also comes a possible issue with your power supply or something electrical within your computer. And that would probably be the worst way to go about this, because you would probably have to pull apart your computer and replace the power supply or replace the motherboard or replace everything because you had a like a short circuit or some kind in your computer. So off the top of my head, those are pretty much all the reasons that you could get blue screen. Now, which reason is yours is the real question. So to go about troubleshooting this, there's a few ways to do it. One, we're just going to go over some commands really quick. So if you come down here and hit run, type in cmd. Actually, scratch that. If we come down here, type in cmd, just for a user-friendly version, run this as administrator. Now, I'm not going to finish off these commands on my computer just so I can demonstrate them, but the first one is sfc scan now. What this is going to do is check for any corruption in your operating system. Okay, so you can go ahead and run that. You will need to make sure that command prompt is in administrator, and this will take a couple minutes. I'm going to skip it, but again, all it does is check for your operating system files and make sure everything is held up correctly. Now, the next command we're going to run is called chk dsk/f. This is checking your disk, okay? And kind of self-explanatory. All it's going to do is fix any issues with your disk. So it's just going to repair any issues with your disk. Pretty self-explanatory. It's telling me I need to reboot before I even do this, and you might get the same message, so go ahead and do that. Again, I am going to skip over it actually running because I am just going over it for you guys. All right, now that we got the 3 easy fixes out of the way, right? We got the Windows updates or Windows rollback updates. We have check on your drivers, and then we have these 2 commands. So let's get a little bit more advanced here. We're going to look for the blue screen of death event logs, okay? And this is usually going to tell you exactly what went wrong. It would usually require a Google search, and I will show you why. So let's head over to Event Viewer. Again, just start menu, type in Event Viewer. We are going into our Windows logs, check your system, and look for anything like these. You can see warnings. Usually you can kind of ignore a lot of stuff, but if we're really troubleshooting something, you want to kind of check on your errors here. Here's our biggest one, bug check. This is the source that we are looking for, so make sure you scroll around to the time that this blue screen happened for you, and you should see the source as a bug check right here. And you can read this gibberish, okay? Lots of hexadecimal, you don't know what the heck this is saying, blah, blah, blah. But it does say a dump was saved in this C drive location. And sometimes if you just kind of Google search this bug check alone, you can come out with a possible solution to your issue. But once again, we are going to get even deeper here. And to do that, we are going to use a Microsoft tool called windbg. Throw on download. All right. Let's go download this. Look how nice and safe it is. Okay, I'm not giving you any weird type of software in your computer. It's straight from Microsoft. It's even in the Microsoft Store, which is cool. And what the software is essentially going to be doing is getting that file, this little dump file, and displaying all the information that could possibly be in it. And this will help us determine what the blue screen actually was. All right, now that it's done, go ahead and open it. All right, now follow along here. We're going to hit File. We'll go to Settings here. Again, this little Settings button. We're going to Debugging Settings. And in this default symbol path, we will be typing this. Okay. So this is msdl.microsoft.com/download/symbols. And hit OK. Now the next step is go to File, Open Dump File, and we're going to browse to it. Now again, if you don't recall, in this bug check where we found it, we have this file path. An easy way to search this, if we wanted to, hit a star.dmp. As you can see, memory.dmp. This means anything.dmp. Go ahead and hit that. And apparently we have no permissions. So I'm going to do this over again, and all I'm going to be doing is running this software windbg as administrator. I'm going to double check my settings, see if they saved. We're good. File, open dump file, browse. Go to your C drive, right? Again, do it this way if you wanted to. You can also just hit enter. Hit open. And now, as you can see, it's doing a bunch of stuff. So after this completes for you, We're going to go into this little box, and you can see this command here. We'll run analyze -v. Now, this is where this is going to be very obvious to you, or it's going to be a little bit harder to fully comprehend. But this is essentially telling us what caused our blue screen. This whole section right here. Now, in my case, I forced the blue screen, so I technically already know what it was, okay? This failure bucket ID, this exe, right? This was crashed on my computer, which causes a blue screen and a bug check alert in the event viewer. This is for my demonstration purposes. But as you can see, it tells me exactly what it is. Now, sometimes it's going to be even more obvious. It'll just say, you know, fan driver or maybe your graphics driver or something random. But it could be very obvious, like I said. If it's not so obvious, you will probably have to just search things up, but this will get you where you need to go. So the module name is usually what is actually causing the crash. So you would want to search up the module name here, ntdll, and then I would Google search it and see what this is, what's using it, and possibly point me in the correct direction. And then of course you will want to look at this as well, as it shows my exe in here that actually caused the crash. Okay, so this is how you troubleshoot blue screens quite easily. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but if you followed along correctly, it will tell you all the information you need to know, and you are pretty much just a Google search away to finding out what actually caused it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or want to see any other type of content. I'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.